Teresita, how are you?
Hello, Lyric. Thank you for inviting me to your Covichats. I think it's such a good idea, bringing people together and being able to share, the situation, the feelings, the activities. I think it's really nice. Great idea. Thank you.
I'm enjoying it myself. It's, for me, I need to connect with people to feel good and to keep going. So I'm personally enjoying it very much, and it is delightful to see you again. We met each other in Houston. I don't remember.
Yes, a few years ago. I don't know when it was, 2014, 15?
I don't remember dates.
I don't remember either. I've been to Houston, I think that twice. And that time I went with a friend of mine. She's not a quilter. She lives in Boston and we're great friends. We've been friends since primary school. And I told her, you have to come with me. We have to do this together because I just want to introduce her to the quilting world. And we went together to your class, even though she has nothing to do with textiles or anything. And it was this class with the cards, design and composition with the cards, which was so much fun, moving around and
do that. Anybody.
It was great. So even though she wasn't a quilter, and she never was after that, but she enjoyed it so much. Yes, and I did too, of course. Yes.
Tell me a little bit about where you are. Tell our audience where you live and what things look like there right now.
Okay. Well, I live in Buenos Aires, capital of Argentina. And, things are, like in the rest of the world, a bit complicated. We still haven't reached the peak. So that is like, expecting a tsunami. So it makes you feel a bit uneasy. Winter is coming. We're entering winter at the end of this month. So we know things will get worse. We've been in a very strict lockdown since I myself started sometime by mid-March because I had been in Boston visiting my friend. And when I came back here, which was, I think, 11th of March, that same day, US was declared as a country of high risk. So everybody who had come back from the US in the last week had to self-quarantine. So I was in self-quarantine since then. And then I guess it was 10 weeks later that the whole country went into lockdown. So since then, I've been in here since then. We haven't got so many cases. I mean, the worst part is here in Buenos Aires. The population is really concentrated here. And we have many very poor neighborhoods where lately, in the last 2 weeks, the virus has finally entered. And that was our worst fear. And well, it happened. But things are sort of under control. So far, we have a total of something like 16,000 cases in the whole country and 600 deaths. But it's the worst part is here in Buenos Aires. Probably in the provinces, there are some provinces which have no cases at all because you couldn't travel from one place to the other in the country. So many towns and states were absolutely isolated. So the virus never got there.
Oh,
so it's kind of under control. Yeah. But you see, the economy is falling down to pieces. So how long can this be kept? That's the question. This is a poor country. And I mean, we don't have much to rely on after this. So I don't know. It's very complicated. I don't know which is the way out. I really don't know which is the way out of this.
Just how have you been?
Pray to God.
How have you been feeling personally and creatively?
Well, the thing is, as I was telling you, I have this feeling at the back of my mind. Well, I have a daughter who lives in Barcelona. So having a daughter far away in a place where, thank God, they're coming out now, but they've been in a very difficult situation. So, you know, you can't feel good with that. I mean, even though my other daughter is here and my husband, and there's 4 of us here, and I'm not lonely, not lonely at all, if you see what I mean. But having a daughter so far away, yeah, it's been difficult. But even so, you know, you just keep on going.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been very creative, I must say, but I've tried to keep myself busy. I've been, well, actually, this summer I finished 2 quilts, one of them during quarantine. Then I've been working, I have a lot of pupils. I give regular workshops here. And of course, we couldn't meet with my pupils, but we had some Zoom meetings, and I've tried to give them like monthly themes to work on. So for example, the first month we did a bit of collage, then we did improvisation, you know, and so on. Maybe this month I was going to, I have this QuiltCon magazine that was sent by Quilting Arts, so I thought I would show it to them and make them work a little bit in contemporary patch, and but you know, that's nice.
Yeah.
And and myself, I haven't been able to quite focus, I must say. But I've been doing thousands of face masks. That has kept me really busy. And here at home, I have a lot of work to do. You know, it's 4 of us. I have to clean, cook, sanitize. I'm busy all day. Yeah, it takes a lot of time. But yeah, I always try to keep. I'm doing some hand embroidery. Yeah, that's nice.
Any of it there that you can show us?
I got. Wait, yeah. This is something I finished recently. I'm not very good at embroidery. I just do it because I like to do something with my hands when I don't have my sewing machine with me. So I've been working in Canter stitch for some years now. Mm-hmm. And I've made a couple of pieces. This is my latest one. It's, I don't know which way to go. It's silk. Mm-hmm. Silk. Actually, it goes this way. Like this, and well, it's all hand stitched, you see.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Lots and lots of stitches. And then I'm working on this other one, which is a kind of a cityscape that I'm making with linen.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, you know, my elder daughter's boyfriend, who's living here with us, he's from Lithuania. And last year, I think it was, I went to visit his family, and there's lots of linen there in the Baltic republics. Mm-hmm. So I bought a lot of linen, and well, I'm making that with it. Yeah. Yep. And what else have I'm going to start dyeing fabric. I do a lot of fabric dyeing. Mm-hmm. I like to do that. So I'm going to start doing more of that. That keeps me busy, and I always find it very inspiring, you know. When I dye fabrics, you know, being in touch with fabric, working with colors, I always find it very inspiring. So I will do some more dyeing. But still, I found a few fabrics here, some old pieces, and I thought they were very autumn colors. Mm-hmm. So I'm just, you know, for the sake of enjoying it, I've been making these leaves.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, I thought I would make lots of leaves, autumnal leaves, you know, just to get going, to get inspired, you know, to work a little bit with my hands every day.
Where do you find your supplies? Are you able to buy dye and?
Yes, we can buy dye here. I tend to use American dyes because I think they are stronger, but yeah, you can find dyes here, yes. we don't have much cotton fabric, so I tend to buy from the States as well. Pure cotton fabric, it's difficult to find here. But well, yeah, we get going. Yeah, we manage to get our stuff. Yeah.
What
I
is,
mean, patchwork is not so well known here in Argentina. I mean,
I was going to ask you, what is the quilting world like there?
well, it's there's only a few of us. Actually, when I started, which was about my daughters were in kindergarten, so it must have been about 25 years ago. I was invited by a group of, school mothers, expats, mostly American, but they were from other countries. And they used to meet to quilt.
Mm-hmm.
And I was invited by them. I had never sewn in my life. So, when I said quilting patchwork, no, not me, please. But I had just, I'm a biochemist, and I worked in university as a professor and researcher for years and years. And when my daughters were like 4 years old, I decided that I wanted to stay at home with them. So I gave up my career altogether. And it was that year when I was like, what am I going to do with myself? That I was invited by these ladies. So since I had nothing to do, literally nothing to do, I said, okay, I'll go and sew, whatever. And oh no, it was love at first sight. I must declare it. It was like, these women, I don't know if the sewing thing really caught me at the first sight, but seeing these women, meeting and sharing this activity with a passion, they did it. I was like, whoa, what's this? They were like, well, my daughter is about to graduate, so I'm going to make this quilt for her. What do you think? And have you got some red fabric? I can lend you some. I mean, it was something so fantastic. I mean, it was the best you could get of women's relationships. I mean, that's the idea I got, because there was solidarity, there was empathy, and there was passion. I was captured. I mean, I just said, this is for me. And since I had this void in my life, everything like.
I think you and I have the same origin story for quilting.
Really?
Exactly the same as my story. I had been sewing for years and years already, but I had never made a quilt. And it was the same thing. It was the love of the fabric. It was the love of the designs, but most especially the love of the community and the kindness and the passion that was there.
Yeah. There is something very special there. It's something that, women, well, then I started reading, and, once you get in the thing, you get to know more about it. And of course, it's historical. Women's meetings is something healing. It's something that makes you good. I've experienced it. So, well, I started, and quilting was unknown here, absolutely unknown. There is no tradition of quilting here in Argentina. So at the beginning, it was like, what do you do? Quilt what? What is that? Patch? Now it's different. After 20 years, things are completely different. Social media and things, everybody knows what it is, and there's a lot going on here. But back then, it was like completely unknown. So I started learning. With these ladies, and then I started really getting into it. I went to international festivals. I studied a lot from the Quilt University, where I took your class as well.
Such a long time ago.
It was a long time ago, but I mean, for years, I learned a lot there. I took every class I could, because at some point we made like a little exhibit somewhere here, and lots of women started asking for classes. So I said, well, if I'm going to teach, I need to learn first. So that was when I started teaching. And well, I have my workshop, as I told you before. I have my pupils. I give regular workshops, so I work a lot.
Good.
Not now, but
For those who hadn't heard of it, Quilt University was one of the first online course platforms for quilters.
yeah,
And this is
it
before
was so
video
good.
online. This is way before Craftsy.
Mm.
And
Yeah, way before Craftsy.
just
Yeah,
a lot of writing and a lot of pictures, and the students could email the teacher back and forth, you know, so.
there was a forum, remember?
Right.
We could chat in them. Yeah. You could send your pictures. It was very good. I learned a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that was very nice. Well, and I started teaching here, and then I started teaching in other places. I've been teaching for some years now in Birmingham, in England. Oh yes. I made friends there. And then there was another turning point, which was my younger daughter. She was like 11, and she went for a term to England, school term in England. So I went with her for a month or so. It was midwinter, tiny little town in the Cotswolds. So imagine. So before going there, I sent an email to the guild. You know, thank God, there was a local guild, and they immediately answered me. I was invited to join them. So when I got there, I remember I spent as much time as I could. There was this little quilt shop, and so I went there as many times as I could, and it was wonderful. I remember I was staying at a bed and breakfast, and the owner once asked me, "What is this of the quilters? Are you some kind of underground organization?"
We'll never know.
Because he was surprised that I was coming from so far away, and I was immediately surrounded by other ladies, and I had invitations to go here and there. It was so funny. And there I had this second epiphany, which was discovering art quilting. And that was it. That was it. I had no idea art quilting existed. So with these English ladies, I discovered it, and I said, this is it for me. So ever since, I've been working on my art quilts, and well, it's just filled my life.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful, creative, collaborative way to be, and community to be part of. And I had the same thing. I had been quilting 2 or 3 years, about that time, before I saw my first art quilts too. And it was an epiphany, and it was.
It's an epiphany, isn't it?
That. See, except for you don't have to say goodbye to this. It's all welcoming, and it's all together. In my
sure.
I found that the quilt world is a very big ocean with room for all of the fish.
Right.
There's
right
for everybody, and they're good people. They're good people to be around. Teresita, is there anything that you want to say to the quilters that we're speaking to before we go?
Yes, I would like to. Yeah, it's what I was thinking while you were talking there. You're so lucky to be so many of you there. That is something you need to treasure, believe me, because we're quite isolated here. And for example, this for me is wonderful, or the SAQA live chats. I mean, all those things are so precious to me. Yeah, you should treasure that there's so many of you nearby.
Yeah. We have, and might I say to our people that if you don't have a community nearby, put out the word, and there is probably 2 or 3 people at least somewhere around you who's just waiting for somebody to say, let's get together.
That's true. Well, I have my pupils at least. Right. But yes, and yeah, we're very, very close contact. Yes.
Don't be afraid to start something yourself as well. Teresita, it has been my pleasure to speak with you. And
thank you so much. Thank you so much.
All right. You have a lovely day.
Thank you. You too. Goodbye.
would also love it if you subscribe to my YouTube channel or check out lyrickinard.com, where you can find wonderful art and textile related things. Bye for now.